There is really no thought, there is no science, there is no method. It's just been a knee-jerk reaction, as you rightly put, that this is how we are going to go ahead and just apply it. But I think somewhere now, after 2 years, post having worked in various manners, people are kind of trying to understand that probably there is a change that is required. There is a change that is must. There is a necessity to look at not only real estate but people and production, and try and bind all of this together and come up with the right and optimal solution for myself. And like you correctly mentioned, a science to that needs to be applied. And obviously, business-wise, industry-wise, any kind of operation-wise, these will be different. Now, what is that going to be? How do we reach there? Is where I think people like us come into picture.
Correct. So to answer that, first and foremost are understanding the work style of the organization, work style of the team, work style of the user. So if we look at it from a employee perspective, okay, what is the work style? And when I say work style, I go back to Francis Duffy's book, where he's defined 4 kinds of work styles, right? So whether it's the den, whether it's the club, whether it's the hive, whether it's the cell. So there are 4 kinds of work styles. Now these 4 kinds of work styles are based on certain activities that you do, certain kind of work that you perform. So for example, in a den, I'm doing group work, I'm doing group processes. So does my organization kind of fall into that, or part of an organization that falls into that? Secondly, there is something which is known as a club. Now what happens in the club? Club is more about transactions, more about transactional knowledge, like training centers, research centers. It's more about exchange of ideas. So that comes in a category of a club. Third is something which is known as the hive, where I'm doing individual processes, like individual work processes, like data center, call centers, where I'm feeding in certain things, where I come to office, but I'm only doing my kind of individual work. So that is another kind of activity that needs to be performed. And the fourth is something which is known as a cell. A cell is basically a kind of an enclosed space, like a cabin or a meeting space or something like that, where I'm doing just concentrated study. And your work style or any work will fall into these 4 kind of categories.
Yes.
So this kind of first establishes there are 4 kinds of categories of work. Our next step now will be to analyze these 4 categories with every client.
I think this is brilliantly placed, Kulin, where we are able to define it into exactly 4 categories. Then work with the client to define exactly how much of each category is what one needs. And that's how we kind of come to a solution for, probably by the end of it, come to a solution where we will all talk about, this is my hybrid solution, works for me, this is the right thing for me.